Go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you. We will be reading today Canto 3, Chapter 33, Text 5. Tvam diha tantra prashamaya pabmana nidesha bhajam cha vibho vibhutaya yatava taras tava shukarades tadhyam ati atma patopala bhaya. Tvam, you, deha, this body, tantra, have assumed, prashamaya, for the diminution, pabmana, of sinful activities, nidesha bhajam, of instructions in devotion, cha and, vibho, O my Lord, vibhutaya, for the expansion, yadha, as, avatara, incarnations, tava, your, sukara, adaya, the boar and other forms, that has so I am, this incarnation of Kapila, api surely, Atma Badha, the path of self-realization, Upalabhaya, in order to reveal. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. My dear Lord, you have assumed this body in order to diminish the sinful activities of the fallen and to enrich their knowledge in devotion and liberation. Since these sinful people are dependent on your direction, by your own will you assume incarnations as a boar and as other forms. Similarly, you have appeared in order to distribute transcendental knowledge to your dependents. Purport. In the previous verses, the general transcendental qualifications of the Supreme Personality of Godhead were described. Now the specific purpose of the Lord's appearance is also described. By his different energies, he bestows different kinds of bodies upon the living entities, who are conditioned by their propensity to lord it over material nature. But in course of time, these living entities become so degraded that they need enlightenment. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that whenever there are discrepancies in the discharge of the real purpose of this material existence, the Lord appears as an incarnation. The Lord's form as Kapila directs the fallen souls and enriches them with knowledge and devotion so that they may go back to Godhead. There are many incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, like those of the boar, the fish, the tortoise, and half man, half lion. Lord Kapiladeva is also one of the incarnations of the Godhead. It is accepted herein that Lord Kapiladeva appeared on the surface of the earth to give transcendental knowledge to the misguided, conditioned souls. Om Agyan Trinidasya Chakshur Unitamina Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtha Buddhale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamini. Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvana Pracharani Niriksha Srinivadi Pashtati Dashtarni. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I humbly bow down and seek blessings from all the assembled Vaishnavas, and thank you for the opportunity to read Srimad Bhagavatam for my own purification. I've selected a few points to summarize from lectures from Paramparam. We are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 33, called Activities of Kapila. We have read today how Devahuti prays to Lord Kapila, saying, "You have assumed this body to diminish the sinful activities of the fallen and enrich their knowledge in devotion and liberation." The material world has a purpose. It is filled with living entities, and living entities have free will and a lot of activities in this material world. And the living entities, because of their free will, engage their free will to fulfill the propensity to lord over material energy, to try to control material energy. Right from birth, every living entity wants to acquire, control material energy, to enjoy various sense gratifications, engaging in fruitive activities, to enjoy fruits of power, knowledge, pleasure, etc. And they are using their material intelligence to control material energies to fulfill their material desires. In the human form of life, they got a very special opportunity to culture and modify their activities, to properly use their free will by following the directions of Shastras. Following the instructions from scriptures, one can elevate their consciousness from Tamaguna to Rajaguna to Sattvaguna. And then one can take the directions from Guru, under whose direction he can exercise activities to fulfill the received instructions in order to get liberated from material entanglement. The knowledge about liberation and knowledge about devotion mentioned in today's verse is not available within material energy. This is transcendental knowledge, and we have read that it has been imparted by different incarnations of the Lord. And this knowledge purifies living entities and allows one to act in this knowledge, engage in activities with devotion. And this knowledge was not there. If this knowledge was not there, the humanity would be without a direction. Even when this knowledge is there, it is neglected, and Lord has to come down in different incarnations in order to remind the living entities about the true goal of the human life, of the spirit soul, to attain the spiritual platform, attain spiritual world. The free will and actions are very important. The Lord incarnates to influence us for our good, so we can engage in devotional service of the Lord. It is our birthright to be transcendentally situated, to have freedom from all miseries, and to fulfill our deep instinct to love, instinct for pleasure, instinct for knowledge. Every living entity is capable to get to transcendental platform. The association with pure devotee of the Lord is instrumental to get direction on how to act. Free will is very important, but what guides the free will is even more important. Free will by itself can be very dangerous. The goal of free will is to reach particular destination of liberation and devotion to the Supreme Lord. For that we need direction, we need directional knowledge, intelligence is required. The incarnations of the Lord provide us the direction how to act to be free from all sinful activities. All living entities in material world are confused and need direction. They don't know why they're coming to this world, what is the purpose of material world. They cannot know. Only when we meet a person who have seen the truth, spiritual master, he can guide us and tell us that what you're looking for, you cannot find it in this material world through fruitive activities. The spiritual teacher gives the directions to fulfill the true needs and wants. What you think you now want and desire are not the true wants and desires. They are perverted. You are satisfying haunted desires which are not your desires. You are following the dictates of Maya, but you need to follow the instructions of spiritual master and Shastra. This is the direction you can go to liberation and avoid sinful activities. Sinful activities fully entangle living entity and bring him down into the lower state of consciousness of ignorance, illusion, laziness. In order to follow good directions, one should be established in Sattvaguna, follow Shastras. The place of transcendental knowledge and direction of the spiritual master are very crucial for exercising our free will. In a different way, we look at the situation. Free will is the cause of all problems, also cause of liberation and love to God. We should treasure our ability to decide to act. Whimsical action means tamasic free will. I don't need to give any reason to myself and others. I can act in any way I want. Our free will is different from Krishna's free will. His free will is totally unrestricted because he is all knowledge. But we need, according to different situations, different kinds of situational knowledge in order to exercise the free will in the right direction. One of the biggest obstacles to spiritual advancements are whimsical activities, characterless activities. Character means one cultures, some do's and don'ts, and how you culture is not arbitrary. You culture based to knowledge about what those actions will lead to. One learns from Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. 4 important principles: not gambling, not intoxication, no eating, no illicit sex. When situations are encountered which put the senses towards these activities, we have to unconditionally exercise our free will as per directions of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. We have capability to do it, to learn how to remember Krishna all the time and never forget Krishna. I will stop here. I apologize for any shortcomings during reading and summarizing.